Bring in more revenue while saving money and differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack vying to win those guests by becoming more environmentally friendly. We will show you how easy it is and how cheap it can be, if not free, and share all the opportunities available. So join us each week as we take another step along the green path. That's one more step to differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack. Proudly sponsored by the Book Direct Show, a green vacation rental conference. Learn more at bookdirect.show. Hello everyone and welcome to the introductory episode of the Green Path podcast. Today I'm with Bob and we're going to chat about why we're here. Hello Bob, how are you?
Hi Deborah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Now Bob, let's get started on how we actually came to be here today. It all started back in London at the Short Stay Summit, and Bob will explain how and where.
Yeah. So thank you, Deborah. So we were in London at the Short Stay Summit, and I was moderating a panel, a private closed panel, on how we can activate our industry, the vacation rental industry, to engage with eco-friendly activities. Because we know that we need to do that as a sector. Most of the sector is not engaged. And so we were having a roundtable discussion about what we could collectively do to kick our industry up the arse and get it moving on being more sustainable. And that was the beginning of that was the genesis that's led to some other discussions and has also led to this wonderful podcast that you've started. Thank you very much.
That's my pleasure. So the thing that really came out of it was a lack of education. People don't know where to start. They think it's not their responsibility. They think it's too hard. They don't know anything about it. So the whole point of this podcast is to listen to some success stories about other managers that are doing it and how they're doing it and what they've done. And also to teach you some small steps that you can do to get the ball rolling. So we'd already discussed about how you can save money from becoming more environmentally friendly. What are the other benefits of doing those small steps to becoming more environmentally friendly?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting, Deborah. You make a very good point, is that, I'm speaking to hosts and PMs all the time about how they can be more eco-friendly and how they can start their journey. And you're absolutely right. People understand that they should be doing something, and no criticism to them intended, but they've a lot on their plate. And the environmental sustainability issue never comes to the top of the pile. And they're also somewhat confused about how to start, where to start, what to do first, who's going to support them, will it cost me any money, And so what happens is inertia sets in and they don't do anything. No criticism intended of them. We're all trying to work and get our businesses to operate. So I see my role as operating sustainable properties in Italy for the last 15 years is to pass on my knowledge, my information, what I've learned, and get it out there for free to people so that everybody can get started. And you're right, we need to be focusing on what is in it for the property managers and the hosts. And they have got some great opportunities that they can tap into. As you were alluding to, we've got a demand out there for people who are looking for sustainable properties. Booking.com do a survey every year. And the last survey came out a few weeks ago, and it came out that something like 78% of travelers would like to stay in a sustainable property. 78%, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
But guess what? Most of them are not, because they can't find these places to stay. So, my message is that the demand is out there, but there isn't yet the supply. And so what we need to be doing is encouraging PMs and hosts to recognize that there's a new market out there that they could tap into, that they could take advantage of, and they can get some new business that they currently are not in the market to get because they're not branded as eco-friendly and they're not taking some initiatives to attract that market audience. And so it's really crucial that we start to get PMs and hosts to think about how to be eco-friendly, to brand themselves as eco-friendly, to shout it out from the rooftops and attract those individuals who are looking for it. And there's a lot of things that we can do to encourage people to go down that path and get them started. But we've got to get these hosts and these property managers started. and they can make money out of this. You know, I always say it doesn't matter whether you come at it from wanting to save the planet or wanting to develop your business and make more money. The result is the same. We help the planet and we get these new guests coming in and we help our own businesses.
Yeah.
So I really encourage people to do that.
Yeah, it is a win-win-win. The property manager wins, the guest wins. I was just chatting with someone else about the fact that the guest wins because they're in a very clean environment. The woman that I was chatting to, a copper ionized pool, so even there's no chlorine in the pool. So an organic body wash, so it's great for the guest and it's great for the planet. So it is a win-win-win, and it is a niche market that people don't understand, that it doesn't actually take much to tap into that niche market. And like you said, there's not enough supply out there and there's huge demand. I actually heard it was 82% of guests are looking for an eco-friendly property. So there is a huge demand out there, and hopefully by listening to this podcast, people will understand that it doesn't actually take much. And we will, like you said, opportunity, it's a great word. There are many opportunities out there to increase your revenue and save yourself money by doing some of these small steps. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So who are we targeting? We're targeting not just property managers, actually. We're targeting people. Everyone can be doing this, even in their own homes.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. I mean, the advice that goes out to property managers applies to everybody in their own home as well. You can take some steps to reduce your costs and reduce your carbon footprint, your impact on the planet. So yeah, I mean, this is, you know, obviously we're talking about our industry, the short-term rental industry, but most of this advice applies equally to individuals and to other businesses in other sectors. You know, bear in mind that tourism accounts for 8% of global greenhouse gases, 8%, because tourism is huge and very diverse. And the short-term rental sector is a tranche of that 8%. And so we have a responsibility to play our part, I would say. And I'm on a mission to try and educate and inform and help people just start down that path. And it doesn't need to be intimidating. You know, I started 15 years ago knowing nothing. And you just take one step at a time, you do something, you find it works, it brings in some business, it builds your business, it builds your bottom line, and then you take the next step. And that's all it is. Take some baby steps, review what you've done, see the success from it, and then go on to take some other steps. And I do know that in your podcast, as you move forward, you're going to be really talking about these to different people and advising them on what they can do. And I think that's brilliant. It's going to be so helpful for property managers and hosts.
So we're talking property managers and owners, but you also touched on the businesses. So there are lots of property management companies. The companies can also be environmentally friendly as well. And we are going to have a few companies as part of the podcast being interviewed on what they are doing. So for example, even yesterday, you sent me that link to see if the website is green. Can you actually explain what that means? Because I did check the companies and they're green, but like, what does that even mean?
Right, yeah. So you're referring to the Green Web Foundation. So we're all using the internet, we're all using computers, we're storing all our data in the cloud, and that takes a huge amount of energy. And what you want to be doing is using a supplier, a host, who takes their energy from renewable sources. And you can punch a URL into that website, any URL, and see instantly if they are supporting a green host. And using green energy. And so that's a great way. You can then, if you are, you can take that badge and you can badge your website. And that's one small step to demonstrate to your stakeholders, to your customers, that you're thinking about being green. Now, of course, if it comes up as no, then you can talk to your host about that, or you can switch hosts.
Yeah.
But you might just find that you're already on a green hosting website, and that's brilliant. Badge yourself, because one of the most important things I say to people when they get started is, great, you're on the road, you're doing stuff. You need to brand your business. You need to talk about it. People need to find a way of finding you. So you need to be shouting from the rooftops that you're taking some green initiatives and you're making a difference. And even if it's only 2 or 3 things, put a page on your website, start to talk about it, and then say, and next year I intend to do another 2 or 3 things. Nobody's going to criticize you for taking some small steps, but they will value the fact that you've taken those steps and you're looking forward to taking some more.
Yeah.
But you've got to be singing it and shouting it from the rooftop so people can find you and people know that you're trying to be green.
Yeah, but even putting it on your website, environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, because those people that are on the lookout for those sorts of properties are going to look online, and hopefully, especially now, look, if people are looking and there's not enough supply, you are going to be, and I love this we had discussed this before, one of the first movers. You are going to get ahead of the pack if you can start talking about environmentally friendly, eco-friendly properties. For those people who are looking to find them, then they're going to find you, and then they're going to possibly stick with you. So it actually would pay to start getting it all over your website, and in fact, getting it in your even in your property descriptions on the OTAs. You know, I know Booking.com does something with the badge, but I believe Airbnb didn't with their categories. I don't think eco-friendly popped up.
It didn't.
Could be wrong. It didn't. Okay, yeah.
It didn't.
So even just to put it in your description, property description, because then, you know, those people on the lookout for an environmentally friendly property, boom, bingo, found one. Great. It looks lovely. La, 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 la. Great. So,
yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Booking.com have got the eco badging. So if you're on Booking.com, you complete their survey, and if you pass, then you can have an eco badge on your listing.
yeah.
Other OTAs are coming on board. There are specialist OTAs like EcoBnB, which only specialize in eco-friendly places to stay.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Also put it in your digital guidebook. You know, if you've got a digital guidebook, put it in there. We use TouchStay, and they've got a specific section about how to make a difference and how to be eco-friendly. Really encourage people to take a look at that, because it's a superb product. And it's already there and made for you. You can just start to use it. Of course, there are other digital guidebooks as well, but you need to find all these different channels to be talking to your stakeholders, talking to your customers, and getting them involved. The more you can talk about it, and the more you can engage them, you can make a difference. And you're absolutely right. It is first mover status. Yeah. We've been doing it for 15 years. We're one of the very few in our area that does it. And so we have an advantage over our competitors in this area. People who are looking for eco come to us, and that's really great for your bottom line. So absolutely get ahead of your competitors and start to take some steps. I think it's very sensible business advice. Yeah.
Because this is actually going to end up being a not a no-brainer. It's going to have to become a standard in the industry. I think eventually it's going to have to become a standard. So why not get ahead of everyone now and do it now before everyone else comes on board, and tap into that huge niche market of guests looking for the environmentally friendly property now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you look at the generations, the younger the generation, the more engaged they are in this topic. They understand, they've grown up with it, and some of the older people are perhaps less connected. But as we move through the generations, it is only going to get bigger. And the other thing I would say, Debbie, I think that's really important is, when you're eco-friendly, nobody is ever going to say, "Oh, I'm not staying at them because they're eco-friendly." You know, you've got this wonderful place to stay, and you've got a good pitch, and you've got a good price and everything, but you're eco-friendly. That's not going to turn anybody off. It's only going to give you an advantage. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. And as you said earlier on, I think you can do many of these things without spending $1 or a dime. You can get in there, make these differences, and start to brand yourself and attract this audience who are really desperately looking to find you.
You know, I wonder if this whole thing about it, when you're saying, you know, oh yeah, they found the eco-friendly and they're not going to go now, that, you know, it might actually make you look better, not just because you're eco-friendly, because if you care about the environment, then you will care about the guest, and you care. It shows that you, as a property manager, host, whatever, care, that you're actually doing something because you care. I think that's a very, very big tick as a guest looking at a property manager. That's a very big tick. So yes, like you said, so there are things that you do for free, things that are cheap, things that will make you money, and things that will save you money. So it sort of sounds like a no-brainer. So I do hope that people will stick with this podcast and learn what each of the little things are, and how to market the fact that they're eco-friendly, learn about what it means. Well, let's go back to basics. What's carbon and why is it such a culprit? You know, I think that'll be a nice little educational episode. I might get a professor in for that one. we want the experts. I like a bit. I'm a bit of a science geek down in heart at heart. So yes, I think we've sort of summed it up for the introduction. Anything more you'd like to add?
Yeah, well, also I'd like to thank you, Debbie, for starting this podcast. I think it's brilliant, and it's going to be so good that people can dip in for just 15 minutes, learn about a topic, take away an action, and that's going to really make a difference. I think it's a game changer, and I'm really chuffed that you've started it, and thank you very much. I'll be watching it very closely.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you very much. Well, if you have any questions for Bob, you can pop them in the comments below. We'll put any links for anything that could be of value for your education. And Bob, I'm sure I'll be speaking to you again soon. So thank you very much for your time.
Totally my pleasure. Take care.
Thanks, Bob. Bye.
Ciao.